Alright there guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome to Savotta Russia. So we are doing another little walk. As I said in my most recent video here, I'm working out and it's like 4 or 5 times a week. And it's a good way to warm up, to walk. I've already been walking for an hour, run for 1 hour today, but we're taking a second run today. And then we go to the push-ups and the squats and all that funky stuff. But that's not what we're here for. Today we're going to do 2 things. We are going to look at some backwoods cooking because we're going to fry up some mushrooms and cast iron and all that good stuff. Because the other day, me and the family, we were out collecting mushrooms, mostly the red fly agaric mushroom. We collect them for the pharmaceutical industry, sell them off to the pharmaceutical industry, and they do with them whatever they want to do. Maybe this microphone is too far away, I don't know. But what they're doing with them, I don't know. But we of course also found some edible mushrooms. So we're gonna take a look at the frying up some of these edible mushrooms. I'll most likely put on the screen what they are called. And in Latin, they're really tasty, especially when marinated. But this time we just fry them up with some onion and some bacon. Bacon is my favorite spice, and some eggs. So we're done with the cooking. We're gonna get to the segment with the guys are running away from the mobilization, all that good stuff, because I have some updates there, and yeah, let's check out the frying of the mushrooms, and let's get back to the awesome topic of runaways from mobilization. So here we have an old school cooking spot. It's of course not where we cook for the whole family every day. It is my place, as you can see. We have some axes and stuff up there, snowshoes and this and that. So we're gonna try and cook here on the cast iron here. And it's getting a little bit dark because one of my buddies got stuck out on the field, so I had to go and help him. It took like half an hour or something. So let's see if we can get it done before it gets dark. That would be pretty awesome. A classic dish for mushrooms is of course, I'll see if I can do this one-handed. I'll get a tripod here. But a classic dish is of course just mushrooms with potatoes. But that's what we're not going to do. Now we're going to dump some onions, we're going to dump some bacon, and then we're going to dump the mushrooms. We're frying in butter, by the way. Let's add a little bit of bacon, it's not a lot. And this gas burner here is also where I do some canning and stuff. Maybe we have to can some stuff, some pig meat and stuff. So who knows? Maybe it would not be a bad idea. Alright, so it's browned a little bit. Here we have some mushrooms. It's actually not a lot. It's gonna shrink in size considerably. Well, it's mainly for me and Mrs. Savotta Russia, so I don't know why. Mushrooms are not really kid food. I was not happy about mushrooms when I was a kid. Now I like it. But this is these white mushrooms. But I most likely post on the screen or something what is called in the Latin and possibly English as well. I think we're just gonna do the Latin. It's a classic mushroom, of course. So at the moment we are at the stage of cooking out or boiling out all the liquids from the mushrooms. That's why they're gonna reduce considerably. You see, we have a lot of liquid here now, but it will boil off, and then the actual frying will start. So now we have cooked off all the liquids, which is basically water, and as you can see, hopefully we're starting to get some color on it. Means we're getting some frying crust. We'll fry it a little bit more. So as you can see, it's kind of done. Ready to add some eggs and stuff. But before that, we will. You see, it's been fried well. It can take like half an hour or something. But it's worth it because it's tasty. So we're gonna add a little bit of salt here. Like that. We are not cooking over in the house because we have 3 kids and stuff, right? So it's gonna be interesting. Some pepper, freshly ground pepper. It's awesome. We can add some chili and stuff like that to it as well afterwards. Whoop. Mushrooms, you can almost do anything you want with mushrooms. Well, if you haven't tried it, then just fry some potatoes, fry some mushrooms, and mash them together, and it's gonna be really, really awesome. But mushrooms with onion, egg and bacon is not half bad at all. It is not any gourmet cooking or anything, of course. This is just some outback cooking, regular Sunday thing. Collecting mushrooms, frying some mushrooms, tra-la-la-la-la. Like real life in the backwoods kind of a thing. Nothing more to it actually. And cast iron is of course always good, because if you treat it well, nothing really sticks to cast iron. But looks like this stuff here is done. So guys, here we have it. Our bacon and onion fried white mushrooms. They're super awesome. We have to go to the forest. But I've been hanging out a little bit with the family and the kids, you know, like, because I'm teaching them some marksmanship and collecting mushrooms and this and that, because I've been at the house every single day from dusk to dawn, basically. But let's taste this guy here, see how it goes. It tastes exactly like fried mushrooms. Fried wild mushrooms with bacon, eggs and onion, salt and pepper. But to the topic of the runaways, the guys who are running from the mobilization and stuff, before we dive into that topic, I would like to say that if you do not like what I'm saying about this topic and so on, just try and sit and chill out, take it easy and just listen, because sometimes it looks like in the comment that you guys, or some of you guys anyway, are not listening to what I'm saying. You are listening to what you want me to say or what you want to hear, so to speak. Because most recent video on this topic here, did I say that nobody was running? No, I didn't. Did I say that it was blown out of proportions? Yes, I did. So far I have been able to find out that about 16,000 guys was running away to Finland. I have some footage from the Georgian border, from Gruzia, not to confuse it with Georgia in the United States, of course, but I have some footage from the Georgian border we can also take a little bit of a look at and talk about what's going on there. And as always, there's of course links in the description, links in the pinned comment, so you guys who actually likes me and wants to support the channel, because it's of course important in these times for the channel, for us here, and I appreciate all you guys who's doing so, guys from Denmark and States, UK, Germany, wherever you are. It's super awesome. So thank you very much for that. Many of you guys seem to like the Buy Me a Coffee thing I have found out, so you can check out that link anyways. But let's get back to the mobilization issue. I want to try and give you guys my observations, and that's what I'm trying to communicate in the comment section. It's my observations. There's nobody pressing me to do anything or blah 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 and weird comments, but I'm a grown man. I can handle it. I don't take any offense of the name callings and so on. I just find it funny, and in some cases a little bit immature. Anyway, we have a reliable number of 14 to 16,000 runaways to Finland. That's some information I got from a viewer, subscriber from Finland, which I consider to be reliable, so thank you very much for that. Numbers for Georgia I don't really have, and if it comes from Western MSM or Russian MSM for that matter, I would not consider it to be reliable. Let's say that the amount of guys running from the mobilization is like, yeah, Finland, let's say 20,000 in Finland, let's say 20,000 in Georgia, that's 40,000. Sounds like a lot. It is a lot, but compared to the mobilization potential of plus 25 million in Russia, it's not that much, you can say. But of course, some are running. The Ukrainians did the same when they started the mobilization, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago or something. Many much funky footage from the Polish and other borders with guys in the women's clothing and so on, because Ukraine had already forbidden males at between 18 and 60 to leave Ukraine, and that is not the case in Russia at all. In Russia, and I said this before, it's guys with military experience, preferably combat experience, that they are looking for. And as I said also, 22 guys from this region is the quota for this region. This region is 10,000 people, right? That means that a city of 1 million or region of 1 million have to provide 2,500 approximately, right? 2,222 approximately, right? That is not that much. So I believe the number of 300,000 is also not much out of the mobilization potential, right? And as one of my buddies, a sapper like myself, but from the US Army or Marines, I don't really remember, he also posted today that, yeah, the United States Marines mobilized over 300,000 all in all from the most recent wars these past 30 years, or how much we've been going on. And as says, Ukraine also mobilized. In Russia we have a partly mobilization. So of course it's just bad when Russia does it, right? All is not fluffy and nice on the front and in the war on any sides, that's for damn sure. But it's just a little bit funny that it's ignored when Ukrainians are running away from the Western MSM anyway, and here in Russia they blow it out of proportions, because let's say that's maybe 40,000 or 30,000, I don't know, maybe we'll find out, right? But that's what it is. And who are running? In the Finland, I can say that Finland is a EU country, right? Schengen country, as far as I know, with Schengen. But I saw a lot of Mercedes up there on the videos from the border. I saw some BMWs and stuff like that, so that indicates to me that this is a segment of the more well-off people, because, and they also have to be close to the border. I don't know the exact rules of the border up around Finland, but up at Murmansk, in the Norwegian border, there's I think it's a 50 or 100 kilometer on both sides of the border, and don't need to have visa or anything to cross the border to do some trading and this and that. I've not heard anything about the Norwegian border crossing. So what we have news on is the Finnish border and the Georgian border. And to get back to the Finns, so at the Finnish border it must be people living close to the border, just as well as in the Georgian footage. I can show you the Georgian footage here.
После новости о том, что открыли оформление для пешего типа граждан, так скажем, паспортный контроль можно проходить пешком, без автомобиля, без велосипеда, без какого-то транспортного средства. Резко образовалась в течение 5 минут колоссальная пробка уже из людей. По той стороне выезжают автотранспортные средства, в том числе грузовые. Сарафанное радио работает очень быстро, и люди бегут занимать очередь для того, чтобы пройти границу без автомобиля, без велосипеда, без самоката. Тем самым осложняют выезд автомобилей, которые из Грузии заезжают в Россию. В обе стороны просто колоссальная пробка. Нейтральная зона стоит уже больше 9 часов. Машины двигаются со скоростью 1 метр 1 час.
As you can see, there's a lot of guys on bicycles and stuff like that, and they're very young guys. And it doesn't look like to me that, but it does, what do I know, but it doesn't look like many of them are army material, to be honest. So what we can conclude is, from the footage I've seen anyway, and the posted here, that must be people from close to the borders, because you cannot just start your car and drive to Finland from Russia. You need a visa and all sorts of stuff. To go Georgia, to Georgia is a different matter, because it's a SNG country. But as far as I understand, Finland have closed the border, and as far as I understand, Georgia have also closed this border. So what are they running from? I mean, I have some info on the different situations of my friends and so on. As I said, yeah, I live out here far away from everything, but we are living in 21st century. It's an era of internet communication and stuff like that. So I can communicate with guys, with family and so on, in Moscow, Crimea, even back in Denmark. I can communicate with family. So I'm not that much out of the loop as some of you guys wish me to be. Obviously from the comment sections, right? What are they running from? They're running from the fact that, and I think that could be a blunder from the Russian Federation administration. They're running from the fact that many people who never served in the army or should go to the front was called up. But why are they called up? They're called up simply as I had a discussion online with a guy. Oh, not a discussion really, but anyway, they are called up to get to the draft office, the Vojenkomat, show your documents, what are their civilian status, what is their military status and so on, because there is a lot of different what do we call it? There's a lot of different circumstances that make you exempt. If you work in special spheres of IT, so on and so forth, health issues, you're a loan provider of kids, this and that. Russia does not have a unified or joined database of all this information, military status, family status, work status, this and that. I actually doubt many countries outside of Scandinavia has such databases. So the Russian Federation have found it easier just to call a large amount of people up. So what they do is, for example, to this region, because I spoke to the woman the other day, like 3-4 days ago, who was responsible for this, right? So they call them up and say, we need this and this amount of guys from your region, this region. They call the guys to the office, they show their documents, and they will be either sent further or sent back home. I have already 2 guys who's been called up and sent back home because they have important work for society, right? I have another guy, my youngest brother-in-law. He's 20-something. He's a former sergeant of the army and so on. He served not many years ago, actually. Prime potential. He's not even been drafted. He lives in Moscow. His body is off to the front. So it's not like everybody. My oldest brother-in-law, which is in Georgia, but not running a race. He went there before all this mobilization stuff started. But he's also a sergeant. He's not having any call-ups or anything like that. So it is not like everybody's being called up. But I think many people got scared of being simply, oh, you listen, this guy, he was called up. My friend was called up. He never served in the army. He's 19 years old. Blah, 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 blah. So the call-up process some might find a little bit scary. And I can understand that. I can understand why you are scared and don't want to go to war. That is, many guys do not want that. Most do not want that, right? But some have the what you can say, the mind to control the fear and to go. And we can change the topic at the end of the video a little bit, because there's like a quiet before the storm. You know, we have elections there in the 4 regions: Kherson, Zaporozhye, Donetsk and Lugansk, right? They are voting for a referendum, and about on Friday or something, I will guess these regions will become part of the Russian Federation. And then everything here is gonna change, because then these regions are Russian Federation, and Kherson and Zaporozhye, they are partly in Ukrainian hands, you can say, which is also a little bit funny, but yeah. So Russia will most likely give an ultimatum to Ukraine to withdraw from these areas. And we can talk about justification and all this stuff. Guys, I'm not for war. I am not for civilians being killed and all that good stuff down there. The regions in the southeastern Ukraine, they are Russian. All the old cities, Nikolaev, Odessa, Mariupol, and all these funky cities, they are all founded by Russian emperors of different eras, right? Ukraine hates the Soviet Union, but when it comes to the borders of of Ukraine, then they actually honor the Soviet Union, because the Soviet dictator Khrushchev, he just gave away Crimea and so forth to Ukraine. So Ukraine is a funny construct. Today's borders of Ukraine are the borders from Soviet Union, basically. But we are removing Soviet memorials and so on there. But the borders, they like. I don't know how to interpret that. But yeah, that's just how it is. Alright guys, so something I forgot, because walking and talking is sometimes not so good. But let's get into some numbers of what and who, how many I know which have been mobilized and which have not, and so on. So far I know one guy who's been mobilized. It's a young guy, like what is he, like mid-20s, right? I know my engineer buddy is not been mobilized. I have another buddy who actually served in Northern Caucasus in an actual war zone, machine gun and everything. He's not been called up whatsoever. I know one guy, a family member, which is not my brother-in-law, but another family member. He ran away to Georgia. He's been sitting in Georgia for 9-10 hours in a queue down there. What else do we know? I know some former Spetsnaz guys and so on, but they're a little bit older, in the mid-30s, late 30s, not been called up, not yet anyway, but it's a fast call-up, so I would expect them to have been called up if there was anything like that. So I think that the 300,000 is realistic, because let's get back to this. And I think that the 22 guys from here is representative of what you would take out of 100,000 population region, this should be 222, right? And 1 million should be 2,222. I think it's correct, because it's not like everybody I know and heard of have been called up. Not at all. But it most likely exploded on social media that many which should not be called up was called up. But I'm pretty sure that the guys who was called up and shouldn't be, they've been sent back home again. Another reason I think that the 300,000 is realistic is that if we look at it realistically, whether we wanted to or not, then after Friday, the 4 regions there in the former eastern, southeastern Ukraine, they will be Russian Federation. It means that the Russian Federation most likely, highly likely, to quote Theresa May, will move their troops out into these regions, the regular army with conscripts and this and that, everything, right? Because it's now Russian Federation. I'm sure that the EU and the UK and the US will not recognize it as being Russian Federation, but that will not prevent Russia from moving its troops out there. So, being able to move the whole Western military district and more possibly out into these regions, mobilization of 300,000, and taking into consideration that before this there was already called up reserves of, I think it was 120,000. So that is why I think the 300,000 is realistic. All this with 1 million and 2 million and so on, it's unrealistic. It's just like, I don't know, hearsay, basically. I think the 300,000 is realistic on the grounds that I have just mentioned. So maybe I've been ranting enough on this little video here. Maybe I should go and do my push-ups and my squats and stuff like that. And then guys, if you have any comments, you can of course comment in the comment section. So until next time guys, get out and train, get it done, do something awesome, and see you in the next video. Thank you very much for your time.